Hey guys, it's Rick. I'm the layman apologist. I just wanted to share a quick video. I've been reading and listening on Audible to a book called The Signature in the Cell by Stephen Meyer, and it had a part in it that was kind of interesting that I wanted to share because it reminded me of a video from Mike Winger where he talked about um, how unlikely it is that one person could accidentally fulfill 8 of the prophecies about the Messiah, and then 41 of the prophecies about the Messiah. And so when I was listening on Audible to Signature in the Cell, he used a similar analogy to describe how unlikely it is for abiogenesis to have taken place because how difficult it is to get the needed amino acids together to be able to form the first cell. So, starting on page 210 in Signature in the Cell by Stephen Meyer, he talks about a guy whose last name is Axe, and says that he worked on stuff in the 60s. That was published in a series of papers in the Journal of Molecular Biology, Biochemistry, and the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences between 96 and 2004. The results that were published in 2004 were particularly telling. Axe performed a mutagenesis experiment using his refined method on a functionally significant 150 amino acid section of a protein called beta-lactamase, an enzyme that confers antibiotic resistance upon bacteria. On the basis of the experiment, Axe was able to make a careful estimate on the ratio of A, the number of 150 amino acid sequences that can perform that particular function, and B, the whole set of possible amino acid sequences of this length. Axe estimated this ratio to be 1 to 10 to the 77th power. That is a staggering number, and it suggested that a random process would have great difficulty generating a protein with that particular function by chance. But I didn't want to know just the likelihood of finding a protein with a particular function within a space of combinatorial possibilities. I wanted to know the odds of finding any functional protein whatsoever within a space that would make it possible to evaluate chance-based origin of life scenarios to assess the probability that a single protein, any working protein, would have arisen by chance on the Earth. Fortunately, Axe's work provided that number as well. Axe knew that in nature proteins perform many specific functions. He also knew that in order to perform these functions, their amino acid chains must first fold into stable three-dimensional structures. Thus, he estimated the frequency of sequences performing a specific beta-lactamase function. He first performed experiments that enabled him to estimate the frequency of sequences that will produce stable folds on the basis of his experimental results. He calculated the ratio of a number of 150 amino acid sequences capable of folding into stable function-ready structures to the whole set of possible amino acid sequences. Of that length, he determined the ratio to be 1 in 10 to the 74th power. Since proteins can't perform functions unless they first fold into stable structures, Axe's measure of the frequency of fold sequences also provide a measure of the frequency of functional proteins. Any functional proteins within the space of possibilities or sequence space. Indeed, by taking what he knew about the protein folding into account, Axe estimated the ratio of the number of 150 amino acid sequences that produce any functional protein whatsoever. The whole set of amino acid sequences of that length, Axe estimated a ratio of 1 to 10 to the 74th, implied the probability of properly sequenced 150 amino acid protein at random is also about 1 in 10 to the 74th. In other words, the random process of producing amino acids of this length would stumble onto a functional protein only about once every 10 to the 74th attempts. Okay, and then continuing, Robert Sauer was working on a shorter protein of 100 amino acids. Axe's number might seem a bit less prohibitively improbable. Nevertheless, it still represents a startlingly small probability In conversations with me, Axe compared the odds of producing a functional protein sequence of a modest 150 amino acid length at random to the odds of finding a single marked atom out of all the atoms in our galaxy via a blind, undirected search. Believe it or not, the odds of finding the marked atom in our galaxy are markedly better, about 1,000,000,000 times better, than those of finding a functional protein among all the sequences of corresponding length. So basically, for life to have formed, and you have to understand, some proteins have thousands of amino acid chains to form them. So they're using very small ones, just trying to find a way to get to something that has a function. So what they're saying is that you have a better chance, 1,000,000,000 times better chance of having somebody mark an atom in the known galaxy, in our galaxy, and then having somebody come behind you and randomly on their first try grabbing that same atom with like a pair of tweezers or whatever. And so that just shows how nearly impossible it is. I talked about some of the stuff in another video where he talked about how the number of events that have taken place in the last 14 billion years or whatever it is science is saying now that the universe is old, that it's impossible for there haven't been enough events to even get to a single cell, much less to everything that we have now. So what this reminded me of when I was listening to this on Audible is Mike Winger did a video a couple of years ago where he used a guy named Stoner. He wrote a book back in the 50s or 60s talking about the probability that one person could accidentally fulfill 8 of the messianic prophecies that Jesus fulfilled, and then also a second number. He said he did it, based on 41 of the messianic prophecies that Jesus fulfilled. So on the one hand, you have somebody grabbing an atom that had been marked in our entire galaxy at random as being 1,000,000,000 times better odds. This 10 to the 74th is 1,000,000,000 times better than the odds of being able to get a single working protein, that you have 1,000,000,000 times better odds of grabbing that atom than you do of creating that protein by accident. And then Mike Winger, using Stoner's information, talked about how that for one person to have accidentally fulfilled 8 of the messianic prophecies that Jesus fulfilled, that it would be akin to marking a silver dollar or a 50-cent piece and then covering the entire state of Texas 2 feet deep in silver dollars or 50-cent pieces, and then having somebody go in blindfolded and letting them go all over the state of Texas wherever they wanted to, and on their first try reaching out and grabbing that one that you marked. And it's impossible. And then the thing that was the most similar to me was when he went on and talked about the part where Stoner did the odds of somebody accidentally fulfilling 41 of the prophecies. And that one, he said that basically, I can't remember the number that he used, 10 to the 120 something, I think it was. But he said that if you could take it, he used the example of the telephone booth from Doctor Who as being the vehicle that you could travel all over the universe with. But he said if I had a special Sharpie marker that I could go and I can mark a single electron, and then you could take the entire visible universe, the known universe, the 18 light years, whatever it is, the 82 million light years, I can't remember what number it was, but if you could take the entire visible universe that we can see and you completely filled that volume with nothing but electrons, and then you were get in that telephone booth and pop all over the universe, and then be able to open the doors of that telephone booth and reach out with those special tweezers and grab that exact electron on your first try. That's how unlikely it is that somebody could have accidentally fulfilled those prophecies, and Jesus did. And so I just thought it was really cool how you have on one hand, you have somebody showing the unlikelihood of being able to get life by accident, and then somebody else saying how likely it is, how probable it is that Jesus is who he said he was, using very similar comparisons. And so I just really got a kick out of that. I thought it was neat. It took me a while to find the video from Mike again. I did another video and I took it down because literally later the same day I found the video and was able to get the information. But um, I really just, am astounded at people and their willingness to be naive and to believe things that are impossible and to deny things that are impossible to deny. People want to deny who Jesus is. They want to deny that God exists. They want to accept random mutations and abiogenesis. But even though the numbers are just staggering and impossible, people would rather accept that than accept God and accept Jesus for who he is. So when you got people that are beating you up and making you feel like you're not rational and that you're being naive and stupid for believing what we believe, that's just another little, encouragement. I hope that what we believe and what we have learned is true, is accurate, and we have good reason for believing it, and they don't have very good reasons for believing what they believe. So just a quick video. Sorry, I know I sound a little funny. Been dealing with a sinus thing for a week or so. Not COVID. My daughter got tested the other day, and it's not COVID. We've all been sick with the same stuff, so we're doing good, but everybody's kind of meandering through this little bug. But hope you guys are doing well. Hope you were entertained by this and it gave you some insight and it gave you some encouragement. So I hope you have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.